Pan Eagle here. I had a song I wrote, and I'm going to read that poem. It's called The Traveler. It does have something relation to our friend Val, and it goes like this. Rocky Man Balboa's on the water line, walking true on the real side, confined that his solar body shines. And he got lost when the field of dreams, he found the emerald forest was listening. He heard the new wave echoing, the mountain of light glistening. And once was with the two horses prairie, the great long prairie explorers. He fought the Huns, the dark and overlords, caught by Beetlejuice, wine disease, and forgiven the Orion's queen witchcraft whisperings, no longer fooled by the Ek-Anarli religioning. No way to fall out of grace, and no Lord God to lose face. Pure awareness always in place. And when you recognize, you won't get fooled twice. Our solar life is always all right. You are free, all of your old lives, beyond creations, the worlds of minds, no need for fury, emotion tides. Traveler, Rocky Man Balboa on the waterline. Thank you for that fun one.
Thank you, Peter. I remember Peter contacting me end of November 2014. I forget if it was an email or call, but he said, "No, I think I have something you may be interested in." And he gave me the information to get on the Skype calls. And that was the start of my journey. Well, thank you, Peter.
Thank you. It's cool. Just one side, sort of, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going to say. But we have found some friends here, Victorino and Blas, the Mexican. One is a builder, maybe a master, so-called builder, meaning that he can build anything. It was the quote. And the other has land and high in the mountains. And yesterday, was it? It's easy to run out of the days after a while, It's an interesting effect. Anyway, we walked up, we got a ride up, and then we walked a couple-hour hike on the high side, which still was up and downhill steeply. And we noticed on the way up 3 clouds, thunder clouds. One in particular first caught our attention, and beautiful, beautiful clouds set out on top of 3 mountains, I would say, more or less. Could say that there were 3 and 3 there. And we then at the top there looked over to the side and another valley down to the right, and there was a place there with a little shack in the valley, and a little looked like more like a helicopter pad than anything else from a distance. And this turns out to be property that's also owned by the Victorino. In any case, we were researching properties or places where we could build an all-encompassing natural hydroponic, water-producing, energy-producing, plant-creating, regenerating, recycled greenhouse island, we'll call it. and that went pretty good. That's a good way of describing it. And this idea is to build these in various places all around or wherever, and the self-sufficient community production, let's say, a supply, and it's a very viable project that these two men also are keenly interested in exploring. So that was a great accomplishment, I think, to line that up in a real way. We'll see what happens. There is a song I also wrote up there called Corazon de la Montañas, which means the heart of the mountains. And I've said New Avon, heart of the sky, from Rosarita to the Baja Light, to Sunrise Trail, Sol Saliendo, climbing high, Eagle's wing to the ocean side, Pancho Villa to Zapata's eyes. We wrote the song on Spanish guitar and call it Corazon Horizon Heart. And meaning you never know what the next step is, what each moment is a walk into the unknown. And I'm going to end with asking Val, who did you, we were talking about someone who hit the end of the road and they're going off into the unknown. Oh, the movie with Johnny Depp. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Professor. Yeah.
The Professor, it was called. And Johnny Depp plays a man who knows or is told that he's going to die. And so it's, he, has various mostly selfish, individualistic ways of course, and handling it or being with it. And, all of that's the story of how he wants to break out of the consciousness that got him there, I suppose you could say that, in his individual way in the story, but not saying that that's an answer at all. But he was a professor in a college, so he decided to, the story is like that. He changes the curriculum and kind of ignores most of it and says, well, here's what I want to do, or here's what you can do. And if you don't like it, you can go and do, I'll give you a grade, whatever. And so he gave the students all a choice, which is always the case in every moment. And so that's kind of what the movie's about. I'm not recommending it particularly at all. Nonetheless, I guess that was a relation there too. If you're expecting it to be all lined up in dotted row, it's not happening. So I think that's fair to say. We're in a beautiful room here that has 3 flowers and lotus looking, or maybe not lotus, but nonetheless. And then I know that we have Val's has 3 cats, black cats, that like to play, and I made a video of them. I'm trying to get it on here. Just the cats playing in the garden and the landscape of here in this place, which has been done beautifully nice. And so that's kudos to one of the gardeners in the Rio Valley. Thank you, Val.
Thanks, Peter. Back to this little community that we visited. It looks like every weekend we go up there to explore. It's called El Gato. It's about 8 miles east of us, and it's like a little community, maybe no more than 10 ranches, I'd say. People live there, and it's in a valley. There's a restaurant, and people, at least in the old days, they used to raise horses and cows there, not so much anymore, but they're just living there quietly away from everything. It's kind of like the mission idea without the religious overtone. And the missions were set up down here in Baja as well as Upper California as like little communities, and then they expand out into the ranchitos, etc., and they'd be the hub of the community. And of course, they were the religious exploited exploited the Indians, etc.
Oh.
But this little community is like that, but without the religious part of it, and it's kind of a center we thought we'd utilize to build one of these dome structures, self-sustaining structures. And I was just talking to Edie Sunfleet. She's they call her the mission walker, and she actually started from the southern end of Baja, and she walked all through I think it was 26 missions, Baja, and up into California. I think there's like 16 or so missions up there. So I think I mentioned this before, but she took a couple of burros and a couple of Mexican guides, and she went the route and visited every mission along the way. So I'm contacting her and see if she what route she went from San Miguel Mission, which is in La Mission, which is a little town south of us. There's a mission still there. There's only 3 buildings, but there's still something standing from the former mission that was built in the 1700s or so. See which way she went when she went north. She went the coast or she went inland, which there used to be a Camino Real inland too. So we're still exploring a way to get this Sunrise New Trail started so people can do the trek. Probably take 4 or 5 days for most people to do the whole thing if they wanted to do that. But it's ideas again to promote awareness for the planet, what's going on with the planet, promote the businesses and the ranchers, and promote real awareness, real reality, what's really going on. And that's where we're at. I think we'll report back later. I just want to say also, it seemed like the missions are within, I'm not sure, like probably 2 or 3 days walk within each other, from each other, so that the travelers could, comfortably go from one mission to another in the old days. I mean, this is like the 1700s, late 1600s, when the Dominicans and Franciscans first established these missions, came over from Europe and established these centers in the North America, South America, Americas. So it's kind of interesting that they're walking distance from each other comfortably.
Hmm. There's another thing about the markers. They built mounds around the United States. These exist as well as South America and Mexico. And the mounds could be just rock stands, and they're markers to be seen in a distance. Same thing with certain mountains as a trail station and mark directions. And they're very important for the travelers to have. So you want to pick up on our own markers and whatever they might be, symbolically, that's the reference. So that's it on that. And we were talking about painting in the sand. What was that? You said about somebody painting in the sand. in the, draw me a map in the sand.
Yeah.
Who was that?
Victorino.
Oh, Victorino, yeah. Victorino was making a map of the area in the sand.
It was kind of funny when
Killed
there's
it.
days of GPS and get on Google Maps and all this. This guy, just with his finger draws a map for us in the dirt. Like the old days. We might be travelers in the old days, and he just tells us, which way points the way.
Every new wave we get to is going to be a different wave. All the waves are always different each time, even though they might look the same. Right? Yeah, cool. Oh, that's fun. Hope that was entertaining.